I think some people seem to think that the concept of a personal brand is this new thing, um, in that it exists online. But personal brands have existed for generations upon generations, and it's more or less your last name. Your family name that you carry is, in essence, your personal brand. Who you are as an individual is your personal brand. Your morals, your values, your codes, your ethics, the way that you speak, the way that you act, the way that you carry yourself, what you stand for, what you're willing to die for. That is your personal brand. And your personal brand, in the way that it exists online on platforms like YouTube, Instagram, the list goes on, is merely an extension of you and of your personal brand, where you're able to share your perspectives, your ideas, your knowledge with the world in exchange for attention, which, taken steps further, can be monetized, can be leveraged to make an impact, etc. And I think a lot of individuals, including myself at certain points in time, forget that the personal brand starts with you and, again, your ideals, the way that you approach life, and the experiences that you have had. And we get caught up, it's whether you're looking, maybe you're looking for a subject or an idea or a title that you want to utilize for your next YouTube video. And you're online and you're searching and you're searching and you're watching other people's videos. And the more you consume content from other individuals and other personal brands, the more diluted I think that your message will oftentimes become. And so, one strategy that I have utilized in my content creation, personal branding journey thus far, that has had a drastic impact on my ability to sit down with a concept, a title, or an idea that I want to talk about and simply talk to the camera. Completely raw, unfiltered. I have no script anywhere. And the way that I'm able to do that and to speak on subjects predicated upon, again, my own personal experiences, knowledge, expertise, and just outlook on those subjects much more easily than I was beforehand, when a lot of times I would just scroll YouTube and I would watch a lot of other people's content and consume podcasts and read books and just basically study other people's perspectives. And I still do that, but I don't do it so much in the ideation stage of my content. And what I have found is that the better way to go about it for me is to, sometimes I'll still go on YouTube looking for kind of just a general idea or something that's seems to be popular to speak on, or that a lot of people are speaking on, and that maybe I want to plug in my perspective on it if I see it fit. And so what I'll do is I'll go to YouTube, but I won't watch videos. I will simply scroll along and just see what kind of titles are populating. Like, just see what kind of subjects and ideas that people are sharing. And I'll jot down a couple that I like. Maybe I'll, move some words around on them, kind of just make them play to the narrative that I want to play to. But for the most part, I'll just source these titles and content topics from YouTube still, write them down, and then I sit down with my camera. I don't script it. I'll sit there, maybe look at the title for a little bit, maybe make a couple bullet points. Typically, I don't even do that anymore. And I'll just sit there with that title, with that topic, and I will genuinely have a conversation with myself about where I stand on that topic, what my perspective is, how my experiences in life can play to the narrative that revolves around that subject. And then I set my camera up, I press record, and I talk about that subject. And for me, that has been such an impactful change or optimization that I have made in my content ideation process. Simply cutting out that external influence that I was getting when I actually consumed and watched the videos of other people on the titles that I wanted to create. Because without even knowing it, their ideas were planting seeds in my head. And again, do I do that outside of creating content ideas and things for my personal brand? I absolutely do. And a lot of my thoughts and ideas have come and stemmed from those things. I just don't do it in the process of trying to formulate new ideas for my next pieces of content anymore. And that has really helped me in also not getting caught up in trying to, without even knowing it, honestly, most of the time, trying to emulate that individual that I watched or trying to echo their ideas to you all on camera the second that I sat down. Because the pressure's on, it's like the camera's on. I need to formulate coherent sentences. I don't want to sound like an idiot. I want to get my idea across. And what happens is when you're kind of in that chaotic realm or headspace and you're in the moment, in that zone, your brain will try and find an easier route. And oftentimes it'll just snag quick little blurbs or little things that individual said on their video and just let that flow through you so that you have a place to go. If you start stuttering or you lose your train of thought, you'll just default back on what you heard in the immediate future in regards to the topic or subject that you're speaking on. And so that's really the key strategy that I want to drive home in this video for any of you that are actively creating content and trying to build a personal brand or even your brand for one of your businesses, and you're creating content on a consistent basis and looking to garner attention to then ideally do something with that attention or with that power. And for any of you, I really would urge you to try and implement this, when you're going through the idea stage of coming up with whatever your next piece of content is going to be. There's certainly room for market research, and that's what I'm doing when I'm going on YouTube or I'm going on some of these platforms and I'm looking at the titles and the subjects that people are talking about. But when you take that market research too far, what ends up happening is you just dilute your own ideas and your own thoughts and your own opinions. And a lot of you that I see, a lot of the YouTubers, honestly, some of the biggest YouTubers out there, you'll see it like one title will populate and it's like how to unfuck your life. Like that one was a trending one for a while that I remember. And then you saw like all the big creators jumped on that trend the second that they saw that video title popping. And if you watch 3 or 4 of them, and these are like some of the top YouTubers in like the self-improvement, personal development space, business space, online space, whatever, is you can watch 3 or 4 of those videos and you realize very quickly that they're all echoing the same idea, the same solution, which tells me, well, they probably all like watched the original guy's video and then derived their thoughts and the context for their videos from that original video. Or a couple of them posted it and they all were watching each other and just spewing whatever the other guys were spewing, but in their own kind of lingo. And I just don't think that that's how you build a genuinely impactful and authentic personal brand. I don't think that you do that by mimicking or echoing the concepts and the ideas and the experiences and perspectives of other people. In fact, you should be very purposefully building a personal brand to establish yourself as an individual that is different from the rest. Like, we're all different. We all have had our own trials and tribulations in life, our own experiences, our own just day-to-day life growing up, upbringings, environments, all these different things that make us who we are as individuals. And the more that you dilute that by, again, trying to echo these thoughts and ideas of other people, I mean, people can sense that, man. At least I know I can. When I'm watching a YouTube video, I can tell if some guy's just regurgitating what he saw someone else saying to try and get views. I can tell. Or I can honestly, like, another thing I see an awful lot recently with the big YouTubers out there, you know, the guys that have amassed millions and millions of subscribers on YouTube, is the teleprompter. Like, I'm sure it's probably very clear to the people that watch my videos that I definitely do not have the assistance of a teleprompter. I mean, half the time I sit here in like silence or jumbling over my words at times, because I literally came in this room, and I don't even have it in front of me right now. I came in this room with a title idea or a concept I wanted to talk about in my head, and I just turned the camera on and started talking to it. But with these guys that are using teleprompters, it's like I pick up on that in a split second. That a guy is like deadlocked on the camera, and like you can just tell that he's not speaking from a place of authenticity, that he is not speaking his own genuine thoughts, ideas, and just overarching emotions in that moment. Like there's nothing to connect with when someone's just reading on the teleprompter. Now, does that shit get views? Yeah, because there's a lot of very ignorant people out there. There are a lot of people that are watching the videos with lots of graphics and pop-ups, and they like the guy that's just gonna like give them the boring lecture, and either A, they don't care about connecting with the person, like they just think that person, oh, this guy posted a picture with his Ferrari and I want that, and like I just want to be this guy, I want to try and emulate this guy. And so they're just willing to just consume their content simply because they think it'll make them that person. Or they honestly just are probably trying to waste time, maybe, you know. I'm sure there's an awful lot of people out there that throw a YouTube video on that's like 10 hacks to be more productive. And it's like, in reality, if they genuinely wanted to be more productive, they would just get the fuck off YouTube and go do the work that they're avoiding doing by watching that video. Are there exceptions to that? Absolutely. Like, there are times to consume stuff like that. But I think a lot of people, including myself in my younger years, you know, when I was first starting out my entrepreneurial journey, I would watch all kinds of business strategy videos and motivational videos, like whatever it was. And it was just me, honestly, looking back, it was just me trying to get a little dopamine release from watching a video that was similar to the level of dopamine release I would get from accomplishing that task that I needed to do, or accomplishing the thing that I was watching a video on how to do. It's just that actually putting in the work to finalize that task or to complete that task was a lot more painful than just watching a video on a guy saying, hey, here's how you can do that. But I digress. regardless, for those of you that are trying to build personal brands out there, I'm telling you, the best route that you can possibly go is to find a way to grab ideas. I understand, like a lot of you are going to need, including myself, need to do a certain level of market research, get some titles, get some ideas. The creativity is not always flowing. Like, you're not always going to have just a million ideas coming off your own head. So you may have to grab inspiration from places, but know where to draw the line so that you are not taking so much inspiration that you're literally almost inspiring yourself to become someone that you're not, or to share a perspective that isn't yours. If you want to regurgitate what some other creator is saying on their video exactly the way they're saying it, then in all honesty, you should just take their video, hit share link, and just share their video with your people. Be like, hey, I really agree with what this guy is saying. This is a great video. And I think if you are in X position or you are X person, you would really benefit from watching this person. As opposed to just taking it and being like, oh, I'm just going to basically copy and paste this shit and make it mine. It's like, people will see through it. And I think that in the short term, there is certainly some financial gains to be made in deceiving people in certain ways, in pretending to be someone that you're not, in stealing ideas and concepts from other people and not even like putting your own touch on them or making them your own, but rather literally just copying them. I think there's some financial gain to be made there, but it's all short term, and I don't think any amount of money is worth selling your soul for. And that's all I have to say for this video. I hope this is helpful to any of you guys out there that are trying to start to build your personal brand, or at least that extension of your personal brand that is your online personal brand, or content that revolves around you as an individual, more or less. But appreciate any of you that have watched this video. If any of you feel like you could find some benefit in some more one-on-one attention, or you want to ask me questions in regards to building your personal brand, you can book a call in the link below to chat with me for an hour. Basically, you can just buy an hour of my time, and we can go on that call, dive into what you got going on, what's your business model, what are your goals, aspirations, what kind of content are you creating, are you not even started yet? Here's how to get started, here's how to keep pushing the boundaries, here's how to, whatever it is, optimize the system you've already created, etc. So that is there if any of you do ever want to speak to me directly. But aside from that, thank you again for tuning into this video, and I will catch you all on the next one.